Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition and how much devotion Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition deserves from dungeon masters and players. So this is very interesting. Why are we going to talk about this? Well, we're going to talk about this because of what President Joseph Biden just said. So I am increasingly thinking that President Joseph Biden is an excellent source of information, is an excellent source of advice for dungeon masters. Now, why on earth would a political American president be a source for advice for dungeon masters and for players? That's a good question. Okay, so one, President Joseph Biden is very, very unusual president, right? So he's in this really incredibly unusual circumstance because of what happened with Donald Trump. So Donald Trump is, I think he's a once-in-a-century president. I think he changed America in ways that will radiate out and echo for 100 years, right? We have presidents who come in and, you know, their time in office is barely remembered. That ain't going to be with Donald Trump. He truly changed the game. And one of the biggest things is he slammed the gauntlet down on the following. He slammed down a gauntlet answer on the following questions, right? Should the U.S. president be a celebrity, right? That's a question in the air now. Is it even possible to be an American president without being a celebrity? That's a really good question. I think that's a very fascinating question. I suspect it is not possible to be an American president without being a celebrity anymore. And the only, but the other thing is, like, Donald Trump, basically, here was Donald Trump. Like, he dropped in and he was president, and everybody was like, wait, what's happening, right? Like, we have a president who has completely he is a president who is saying, hey, character no longer needs to be attached to the role of president, right? You don't need to have good character to be president. Like, he would constantly lie, just say, and like thousands of news sources would say, this is not a fact. He said the exact opposite of what a fact is. And he just played really hard and loose with honesty. And he was like, yeah, the U.S. president doesn't need to be honest. He doesn't need to say truthful things, right? We could disconnect that from the presidency. He wrote business books before he was that said, oh, you can lie to your business partners all the time, whenever you want, right? Like, and the people who buy from you, people you sell from, your vendors, you can lie to them. It's not a problem, right? This was shocking, right? Because it used to be, U.S. president is a noble person, right? A person of character. And I would say, like, decades ago, like 2-3 decades ago, the Democrats had this question: Does the U.S. president need to be a person of character? And they're like, we don't know. Like, is it really necessary to be a person of character? And then Donald Trump was like, I'm going to co-sign. And so the Democrats have already co-signed the president not being a person of character. Well, I'm going to definitely co-sign that on the Republican side, right? So, and so basically he seemed to be a horrible, horrible president, Donald Trump, doing all these non-presidential things. But here's the problem. It was a chicken in every pot, man. Like, everybody's stock was going up under Trump, right? Like, actually, not everybody. At the macro level, at the 51% level, everybody had more cars, more homes, more money, everything, right? Gas super low, just stuff worked, right? Like, and so while this guy was just showing every single attribute that should never be connected to a president, you had a huge boom in the U.S. Business was up, everything was up, right? It was like crazy, right? So now President Biden comes in, right, and he just has to follow this guy up, right? And it's almost like a layup presidency. Like, you just need not to be an outrageous, like, you just need to not perform like somebody who clearly should not, who appears that they should have no business being president except for their performance, right? Like, every single attribute of Donald Trump was like, no, somebody with, who's, just, left multiple spouses, just done, disconnected honesty from their lives, written books encouraging other people to disconnect honesty from their lives. This person should never be president, right? So Biden just needs to do a layup, right? He just needs to not be like a person that clearly doesn't appear to have any business near the presidency, right? So one of the things is he's stepping. It seems like Biden is stepping back and thinking clearly, right? And then he's coming forward with these pieces of wisdom and truth that radiate out, right, beyond politics, right? So here's what he did recently, like 2 days ago, from the time of this video being shot. He went to Philadelphia. Fascinating, right? And he said something that I was shocked to hear. He said, voting is a sacred right. What is that? Voting is a sacred right? Wait, why would voting be a sacred right, right? And he said, voting is a sacred right. So he's saying voting, which is non-supernatural, non-religious, deserves religious devotion. Sacred things are given religious devotion. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating, right? So here you have a situation where you have somebody saying non-religious, non-supernatural things deserve to be given religious devotion. Fascinating. Now, let's get into this. I am a faithful person. I am an evangelical Christian. I cannot give religious devotion to Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not allowed to, right? I have a jealous God. It literally says that in the Bible. It says, you ain't gonna put no God before me, not even on the same level. Nothing's sacred but me, right? So I can't even venerate humans, right? And basically, I can't give religious devotion to even humans, and certainly not things, right, or concepts like voting, right? But Joe Biden is encouraging Americans to ignore that, who are not evangelical Christians and not faithful people, but faithless people, right? People who are like atheists, right? So he's saying, hey, if you're an atheist, you should give religious devotion to things that are not religious and that are not religious and are not supernatural, right? That's a fascinating concept. That is incredibly fascinating, right? And I was like, wow, that I've never heard anything like that. That is incredible, right? So Joseph Biden has now introduced the concept that atheists, people without faith, should give religious devotion to non-religious, non-supernatural things. And D&D is a non-religious, non-supernatural thing. I'm fascinated by this idea. I'm absolutely fascinated that our president is saying you can give religious devotion to something that is neither religious nor supernatural, right? Why not put D&D on that list for faithless people, for atheists? I think that there could be some definite benefits from that, right? I'm fascinated with this concept. So I think that that U.S. President Joseph Biden is saying that people who are faithless, people who are atheists, right, who don't believe in a God, can give religious devotion to non-religious things, right? So if voting is worthy, I certainly think D&D is worthy, right? I'm really interested in this. What do you think? Do you think atheists should give religious devotion to Dungeons and Dragons? I think they should. I think I agree with the President Joseph Biden. I think that people who don't have faith should definitely give religious devotion to non-religious things. And so I think atheists are cleared to give religious devotion to Dungeons and Dragons. That's my thought. I'd love to hear your thought. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.